welcome back to our community. I'm Jen if you're new, and I balanced my hormones after getting off the pill in 1 year. I was on the birth control pill for 11 years of my life. Before I ever had sex, I had really bad cramps for my period. Like, my parents would get phone calls in the middle of the night at sleepovers begging them to pick me up. It was really bad. So of course, what did my doctor do? Threw me a birth control pill that I've been on for 11 years. If you're already subscribed to my channel, you know that I've been struggling with IBS for a very long time, about 7 years. So I started to get a hunch that maybe the birth control pill was affecting my digestive issues the more I would listen to podcasts. And I had Alyssa Vitti, the founder of the cycle syncing method, on my podcast, and she wrote books and did research, science-backed research on why the birth control pill is something that we should not be on, and that's masking the root cause of our issues. So instead of addressing and figuring out a solution to my really heavy cramps, we threw a hormonal birth control pill that has affected my life entirely. I started to feel like, paired with my digestive issues, I also just, no matter what I did, no matter how I tried to go deeper in on my health and wellness journey, I could never listen to my body. I wanted so desperately to be able to pinpoint which foods were affecting me and which habits were affecting me, and I just, no matter how hard I tried to listen, my body wasn't telling me anything. It was almost like it was running its own ship, and that it was by the birth control pill is how it felt for me. I also had other symptoms like zero sex drive. I mean, zero. I would have friends talk to me about how, you know, they would be at dinner and just like want to have sex. Never. So I was having a really low libido, bad digestive issues. I was having really low blood sugar symptoms. And I just, no matter what I did, I couldn't figure out what felt good and what didn't in my body, from workouts to food to habits, just none of it. So I decided one day, we're getting off the pill. So I was doing a lot of research. I was reading Alyssa Vitti's books in preparation, and I highly recommend those episodes on my podcast, Area Self-Care, because it was a pivotal moment for me in taking the plunge. So we get off birth control, and here are my symptoms. My PMS, guys, was ridiculous, out of control, like hysterically crying, starting fights over nothing. And honestly, you would think, and what I thought was gonna happen was mainly starting fights over nothing, but a huge symptom for me was being crazy self-critical. So I vividly remember my first period off birth control. Right before I got my period, I was with two of my best friends, hysterically crying that I didn't have a certain amount of followers on any of my platforms yet, and that is so not me. I have such a strong why. I don't care about the numbers. If I could just touch one person, which I know I have, I would be happy. And yet there I am, hysterically crying, throwing a tantrum over social media, and it's just so out of character for me and felt so icky. So then I was starting to get self-critical about the fact that I was being self-critical about that. I also remember my second period off birth control, just hysterically crying and saying to Ethan, like, I know you didn't do anything wrong, but I can't help but want to kill you right now. And just the anxiety was amplified. Anything I would have anxiety about now was amplified times 50. Like, I felt like my skin, I just wanted to crawl out of my skin. We're gonna snap out of it. I'm gonna rip this off. I'm gonna feel great after. We don't need coffee. We don't need birth control. We don't need, that's all I got. I'm literally losing my mind. What am I doing? And then my periods were just really heavy. I had never experienced bleeding through anything before, and honestly that has remained, that they're definitely heavier than when I was on birth control, but my cramps started being really bad again. It was just kind of all the reasons I went on the pill were back and amplified because my hormones were just all out of whack and all confused. But fast forward to today, my hormones are all healed. I did the labs, we'll get there, but here's how I got there. So now I'm feeling incredible, and here are the steps that I took. I went to a functional medicine doctor. I have been going to Parsley Health for 1 year. They do my lab work. They do very individualized testing so that you can then solve the issues from there. But we didn't really test for my hormones. I was going for my IBS, and then my health coach was just helping me get off the pill at the same time. So here's where we started with my health coach. The first thing I implemented was maca powder. So this is something I still to this day, 1 year later, have in my coffee every single day. I put it in my smoothies. It is a really almost nutty flavor. It's a powder, and it just helps with hormone balance. It also helps with natural energy and low libido. So that is the first easiest thing I implemented. It tastes really, really good. It almost tastes like a peanut butter powder, and I just mixed it in my coffee and you barely taste it. And that is something that I started to honestly feel the effects of it pretty quickly. So a few weeks in, I realized like, oh, my libido was coming back, and I wasn't crashing as much, like at 3 o'clock in midday. My energy levels were a little evened out. So maca powder is something super easy that I really recommend. I will link it down below. So like I mentioned, I read or listened to on Audible Alyssa Vitti's books. I consume all her content. It's called In the Flow on Instagram. It's her app. I started tracking my periods every single month on the Health app and also the Flow app, because I found that the awareness of where I was in my cycle was key, because I really wanted to start with cycle syncing, and with that I needed to start tracking my periods so that the apps could tell me where I was in my cycle. And you really kind of can't do cycle syncing until your body has adjusted, because your system's all out of whack. So we'll get into what cycle syncing is in a minute, but another thing I started doing was seed cycling. So I will do a whole separate video on this. There's really not much science to back it up. However, I decided to go for it because these are all tips that my Parsley health coach had recommended to me. So my health coach told me that there wasn't much proof to back up seed cycling yet, or much research. However, like, the science is all there on why these seeds should help you at different points of your cycle. So I decided, let's give it a shot. In the first phase of your cycle and the second phase of your cycle, you're eating 2 different mixtures of seeds. So this one company that I'm obsessed with, I will link it down below, Bia Wellness, they make these packaged up for you. So the first 2 weeks of the month, you have one packet of a bunch of seeds mixed together, and the second half of the month, you have a different one, and it just makes it super easy, and they taste so good. So I'll put them in my smoothies, my yogurts, my oatmeals, and they taste really good, my chia seed puddings. And I do think that it's something that's definitely helped me, and it's something that I can just count on every single day to be tasty and just support my hormone health. Because of my IBS and stomach issues, I struggle with such severe bloating and gas, which again will be a whole nother video, so subscribe, with how I healed my SIBO and IBS. I never wanted to eat before I worked out at the gym, because once I ate, I would be bloated, I would be gassy, it would ruin the whole thing. So I got in a really bad habit of only having coffee in the morning, and not until this hormone journey did I realize that that's really hard on your hormones. And the reason being, because when you first start your morning with just coffee, that is triggering all the stress hormones in your body, and immediately all your hormones are out of whack for the rest of the day. And so I really needed to start eating something once my stomach healed up before I drank my coffee in the morning, and I wanted something super light because I don't really want something sitting on me super heavy before I go to the gym. So some things that I've been playing around with are chia seed pudding. I'll put coconut milk, chia seeds, and mashed banana up, and it's really super light and easy. You'll just put it in the fridge the night before, I eat it in the morning. I'll put my seeds from seed cycling in there. I also will use like a cashew yogurt. Something that my health coach told me to do was focus on protein and fat in the morning. So whether that's eggs and avocado, or mixing protein powder into your yogurt. So it doesn't have to be super heavy, but just coating the system before you start triggering it with all the stress of caffeine. One last thing that I think played a huge role in healing my hormones was something that I did to really help my period symptoms. So my health coach prescribed me with this the week leading up to your period, and while your symptoms are still occurring during your period. I was taking fish oil and magnesium glycinate. So that has really helped my period symptoms like crazy. Magnesium glycinate is going to really help with those period cramps, and fish oil is going to really help with those PMS symptoms as far as I am aware of. And then I think taking that consistently the week leading up plus until your symptoms subside has really just helped get my periods back on track. So let's talk about the after, where I'm at now. I went back 1 year later at the end of my year of my Parsley Health membership, and I took blood work for my hormones. And she said, when she read my hormones to me after doing that blood work, all of the hormones are on point, and it's just so rewarding, because the amount of times with my stomach issues over the years, I've tried so many things and nothing works. This just was so rewarding to get off the pill, do all the things, commit to it, and actually see results for the first time in my freaking life with anything. So I've been loving this functional medicine journey. Some of the after effects of it have been my blood sugar doesn't drop as low. Like, I'm not getting freaking starving midday anymore, or freaking tired midday anymore. My PMS is way more controllable. I feel it coming on a little bit once in a while, and I'm able to just kind of like be self-aware and kind of just like know, okay, this anxiety is from PMS and that's it. It doesn't spiral absolutely out of control anymore where I don't feel like I have control over my body or my emotions. And I get regular periods now. I get them for a couple of days. It's still heavier than it was, but not super heavy. My first day of my period, I'm usually like pretty tired. I actually have like different symptoms now because like the cramps have gotten better. It's funny. The symptoms have evolved a little bit, but it really only lasts like the first day of my period, and it's all a journey, right? So I can now go find the root cause of those issues and holistically take different supplements to treat the fatigue and whatnot now. So all in all, I just want to say it's never going to be 100%. There are so many factors to living just a clean life for your hormones. There are environmental toxins. I'm in New York City. Like there's never going to be a time where I'm 100% perfect. You know, we should be taking our shoes off outside of the house. We should be using all clean products. Like there's so much that I've learned through my podcast that we can be doing that affect us that we don't even realize. It's a never-ending journey, but you kind of just have to learn to love the journey and love the progress. And once you start to feel progress, kind of gets addicting. So follow along for my journey because it's never ending. I'm constantly trying to level up in different areas of my health and my wellness. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you for joining. Comment down below if you guys have been thinking about getting off the pill. I hope that this helped you just kind of make up your mind, and are you ready to commit to this journey? Or is this something that you also resonate with in terms of like my before symptoms, and do you want to get to my after symptoms? Or what was your journey like? Did you take totally different supplements and protocols to healing your hormones? I would love to hear. Let's all share down below in the comments because you are not alone. We're all in this together. Give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful. I love you guys, and I will see you next week.